I cannot believe I'm making this video. As of today, at least the day that you'll see this video, I have officially turned 22 years old, and it'll be my birthday. So to commemorate of sorts, I thought I'd look back at the childhood and my childhood, my teenagehood, and just like all these years I've been gaming, and talk about where it all started. Because honestly, my love for gaming did not start without the PlayStation. I know I'm an Xbox person now, but back in the good old days of the early 2000s and 2010s, I was the person. I was a PlayStation gamer, and so I've compiled a list of what I believe to be the top 10 characters of my childhood. And granted, I tried to consider a lot of things. One, how much I played the source material of the games. Two, if this character is in PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, how much did I savor and enjoy this time with the character, and how does it impact me now? And yeah. So again, I'm gonna start off by saying that a lot of this is based off like my teenagehood, my childhood. So you're gonna see some characters that will, there's some that I feel like are a little bit PG friendly, and then there's some characters in here that I just really liked as a teenager, and that I still really like today. And there's even some I considered on this list that I feel like I'd go and say that really impacted my adulthood. So this is basically a love letter to my whole life, PlayStation as a whole, for helping me, set foot in the direction of gaming, and just everything going on. So without further ado, here is my list of the top 10 PlayStation characters that pretty much defined my love for gaming. Would you ever believe me if I told you that the first type of video game I've gotten into was from the horror genre? Yeah, so I didn't really play this one a whole lot, but I can't deny its influence on me, as when I look back on it, it was one of the first things to get me into the horror genre. My dad played a lot of Resident Evil 4 for the PS2, and I can't deny that I really liked the characters. If I really had to pick one and, put it on this list because of its impact on horror to me, I could go with the easy route and pick Leon Kennedy, or I could pick my personal favorite character that is honestly a tad underrated in my opinion, and that's Ashley Graham. Yeah, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm putting Ashley Graham on number 10 on my list. Ashley Graham is the president's daughter in Resident Evil. The whole premise is that she's kind of trapped in this cultish village. You go and save her and find your way out. And while, yes, her NPC behavior is a little bit tedious, I can't help but enjoy her character design, just the nice orange and green clashing with the very dark and grimy atmosphere. It just works so well. And honestly, she had a cheerful personality that honestly was kind of a nice breath of fresh air with all the horror surrounding the game. And yeah, she was my favorite as a child, and still kind of is today. I still thank her for helping me get into horror. But I just, to be honest with you, Resident Evil is not one of my favorite series. I think it's fine. I think it's good, but I wouldn't say it's the best, which is why it's only number 10 on this list. But I just cannot deny the impact that Ashley Graham had on me. So, Ashley Graham, Resident Evil 4, number 10. Oh boy, another horror character. So recently, I've been taking a dive into horror. With this year I got into BioShock, which may or may not come into play later. But last year, I got into a horror series that was so influential to me that a lot of people tied to the PlayStation franchise, or I guess company. Mostly because, the PlayStation Direct announced a sequel for this game and a remake for one of the games in the franchise recently. And that franchise is Silent Hill. That's right, I chose a character from Silent Hill, the franchise that surrounds a deep and foggy town of the same name. When it came to choosing a character from this one, it was kind of tough because I thought they were all really great. But I went with my gut and chose the protagonist of Silent Hill 3, Heather Mason. That's right, my number 9 on this list is Heather Mason, who is a bit more rude and a bit more brattish when compared to the other Silent Hill characters, but I just really liked her dynamic and overall her entire character as a whole. I thought that she was the best and arguably the most relatable to at the time, and I really enjoyed her character design. I wouldn't say I love her though, because obviously for obvious reasons, but I really do enjoy her as a character, and she's just really cool. Now, I could have gone with the Goat Pyramid Head, but I feel like that there's one horror giant that I love way more than him. You'll see later on this list. But I can't deny that I really enjoyed Heather Mason from Silent Hill 3. So, that's that. Yeah, Silent Hill's Heather Mason is number 9 on my list. Can we finally talk about something that's not horror related? Well, ask and you shall receive, as number 8 is actually a villain from a game that is much more lighthearted that I'm surprised didn't even make his way into the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale game. And that is Dr. Neo Cortex from Crash Bandicoot. I love Dr. Neo Cortex. I think he's the best Crash character. Listen, I used to have a game on the on my old Game Boy, and I know this is technically cheating because I haven't played it on PlayStation, but I played the Insane Trilogy on PS4, and I gotta say, I love Dr. Neo Cortex. I think he's just so funny and so humorous, and just a character that I feel like should have been utilized more often. If you don't know who he is, he's basically the mad scientist type character that attempts to take over the world. However, in doing so, he accidentally starts a rivalship with Crash Bandicoot, who holds a serious grudge against him. I mean, that's pretty much putting it lightly. I had to refresh my memory because it's been forever since I played Crash Bandicoot. But I just had to put it on this list because this game is so fun. These games are so difficult but so fun. And I think that Neo Cortex was a huge highlight of it for me. So, there you go. That's number 8. Yeah, I like the From Software games. Which brings me to my next point. I absolutely love From Software as a company, but one of the shittiest things they do is lock the masterpiece of a game behind a console paywall. You probably know which one I'm talking about. That's right, because when I had my PS4 that I used to play Insane Trilogy and other games that will be mentioned on this list, I played the highly anticipated and highly grossed Bloodborne, which brings me to my number 7 on the list, The Hunter. I absolutely love The Hunter, and I can't think of a better character from this game. Not just because he's the playable character, well, they could be any gender you want. I'm just gonna use he, they, because I played him as male when I, first started. So, sorry if that offends you. But, I love the Hunter. There's so much different styles and so much cool weapons that you can use with this guy. And while he's a silent protagonist, most of From Software games do have silent protagonists, but the Hunter is easily the best one. So damn likable, so unique, an interesting aesthetic, and lots of flair. I mean, you don't just parry your enemies, you shoot them in the face, then stab them. I mean, I absolutely love this guy, and he was just easily one of my favorite playable characters ever since I got into Bloodborne. So, being real here, I don't remember if I played a game with this guy or not, but I definitely played him in PlayStation All-Stars, and he kind of was my furry awakening. So, let's just get it out of the way. Number 6 on this list is Sly Cooper from the titular Sly Cooper games. I mean, what do you want me to say? He's a thievius raccoon that is one charming bastard, has all sorts of amazing sidekicks and villains, and God, it's just furry bait. In the best way. There you go, Sly Cooper. As he drops down on the screen and he's fighting fucking Nathan Drake as soon as I'm talking about him. God damn it, Sly, you devious bastard. Drilling his way into the top 5, we have quite possibly the coolest and scariest monster in all of gaming. There's no reason I was addicted to this franchise if it wasn't for such a titular yet cool and creepy face. I'm of course talking about the Big Daddy from BioShock. Don't let his provocative name fool you. Big Daddy is one Big Daddy. I'll tell you that. He comes in many forms, but is mostly like a scuba diver, except if he was on steroids and had a drill for a hand. I love the Big Daddies. They come in all sorts of different types, and they're easily some of the most recognizable and terrifying entities in all of gaming. It kind of felt wrong to not put it on this list, as he was also one of my favorite characters from PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Granted, I don't remember playing as him that much, but I really loved what they added with him, such as his various drill attacks and combos, and that entire final smash thing where he went under the sea and there was water everywhere. So cool. It was just amazing. And then obviously this year I got into BioShock, so I have a lot more bias towards it. But unfortunately, in terms of this list, it's only the number 5 spot, but trust me, I have saved a good surprise for the BioShock fans. I wasn't even sure if I should even count this on this list. I mean, it's not really a PlayStation mascot, but there's so many games from this guy alone that are on the PlayStation. I feel like I kind of have to talk about it. And I'm also just a huge fan of this character in general, and honestly, all of his PlayStation games were some of the best ones I've ever played. Listen, if you had to grow up with one of the 3 giants of gaming, instead of Mario or Sonic, I hope you grew up with Pac-Man. That's right, number 4 on my list is Pac-Man from the titular Pac-Man franchise. And honestly, kind of a surprise for probably some of you, but yeah, I grew up with all the childhood Pac-Man games. The Namco Arcade classics, Pac-Man World 2 and 3, and my personal favorite, Pac-Man World Rally. I also played the Uncanny Pac-Man Party that was on the Nintendo Wii, and I'll just say I preferred Mario Party bet more. But I am a huge Pac-Man fan, and I absolutely love all the Pac-Man games, and these were some of my first ever video games that I've ever played, so of course I have to give them credit. Granted, I will defend it and say that I personally think that, the PlayStation games, the Pac-Man World games and whatever, are honestly the better titles out of all the Pac-Man games. I do not think that the classic Pac-Man is not something I would consider, a classic anymore. It's still good, but it still should be recognized as a classic, but it's not really a cult classic in my eyes. But what Pac-Man did for the PlayStation is a classic in my eyes, and that's why it's number 4 on my list. Go watch gameplay of Pac-Man World Rally if you haven't seen the game. It's for the PS2. It will blow your mind. It was so fun as a kid. So earlier on this list, I said that there'd be a character that is going to appear that I haven't played the game of because it's a classic character from the 90s, and frankly, I played a little bit of him in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I don't remember if I enjoyed him all that much, but recently times have changed, and now he's one of my favorite characters ever. So, allow me to present my number 3, Sir Daniel Fortesque from Medieval. Sir Daniel Fortesque is a kooky skeleton knight that is resurrected by an evil sorcerer and sets out to destroy him as he resurrects pretty much all of the evil undead forces that haunted the town of Gallowmere. And what do you expect me to say? I think that Sir Daniel Fortesque is a wonderful character and has an amazing character design. I loved the art style when it came to choosing for his skull face, like how the teeth poke out in such a cool and kooky way, and just kind of like how he has one eye that shifts from side to side. Like, he just has fantabulous character design. And although he's kind of a muffled protagonist, you can make out what he's saying, and it makes sense with the lore because he's undead. And I gotta say, he's just so charming and so cool. And I don't know what you want me to tell you. I just love this guy. I really do. It's growing on me. And I've been watching Let's Plays of the Medieval series, and I kind of stopped because I do want to play the first game myself, and I'm praying that with the new Sony license things, it will not just be a PlayStation exclusive, but I could be wrong. So yeah, Medievals, Sir Daniel Fortesque is number 3 on this list. Well, here's the surprise you've been waiting for, BioShock fans. My number 2 is Songbird from BioShock Infinite. And before you get mad at me because I said I recently got into BioShock, you have to remember that Songbird is a hazard that was in Nathan Drake's Uncharted stage in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been a huge fan of this thing since forever. Granted, if I'm really being honest with you, he is my favorite character in all of BioShock and in all of horror. And I wish I could say my favorite gaming character of all time. But unfortunately, he just doesn't top this one. This character, number 1, is like one that I played with for years. I have a lot of nostalgia. You'll see who it is and you'll understand. But right now, giving the bird the spotlight. He has one of the most terrific and horrifying designs I've seen in gaming. A large mechanical humanoid bird hybrid that just kind of flies around and protects Elizabeth. Like, it's just so cool in concept, and even cooler in execution. I love how the eyes change color. I love that, he takes inspiration from the Big Daddies, but better than the Big Daddies in my opinion. And I like how he's just this overarching figure, and I like how you can pacify him with the song. Like, oh my god, everything about Songbird I just love. And I never felt this way passionately about a horror character or a video game character for that matter. Unfortunately though, he is short of number 1 because I just love number 1 more for obvious reasons. But if I had to pick between Songbird and this number 1 character as my current favorite character of all time, I would choose Songbird. It just is the way of the list. So, without further ado, let's reveal the number 1 character. And my number 1 character on this list, the character that defined my childhood, was Sackboy from Little Big Planet. Listen, as much as I love Songbird, I cannot deny the years that I have poured into the Little Big Planet games, with Little Big Planet 2 being my most absolutely favorite game of all time. The whole idea of playing through these levels and creating levels with this awesome in-game editor was just marvelous to me. Now, is Songbird better than Sackboy as a character? Honestly, yes, in my opinion. But what puts him at number 1, he's entirely customizable. And I believe there was even BioShock DLCs in the game, Little Big Planet as well. In fact, I just remembered there was a Little Big Planet DLC for Songbird in Little Big Planet 2. I totally forgot about it. So you could be, Sackboy could be Songbird, as well as the various other characters, which, rest assured, my case. But when we're just talking about Sackboy himself, he may be a silent protagonist, but he is so full of love and compassion, and he is so fun to play as. He has a poppet full of whimsical things that you could do to help make your levels shinier and cooler. Yeah, that's a word. He also has a large abundance of tools at his disposal, such as the poppet cursor, which allows you to move things and grab things and do cool stuff with that. And, it's just, at the end of the day, Little Big Planet was all about creativity, and that's one of my favorite things ever, and that's honestly so cool. So I'm a huge fan of Little Big Planet. and I think it's easily like the best franchise that's ever been on the PlayStation, and one of the best games I've ever played. And Sackboy as a protagonist just really like this cute, cuddly sack doll design just really worked for me. It was super charming and super cute, and yeah, I will forever defend Little Big Planet. But yeah, Sackboy is number one on my list of the characters that really influenced my path of gaming. Thank you so much for watching this list. I poured a lot of time into this, so I would really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, or maybe leave a comment if you're feeling generous. I'm so grateful that I was able to put this out there, and happy birthday to me. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I really hope you all enjoyed this. And as I'm speaking right now, it's about to be my birthday in 8 minutes. I'm so excited. So, yeah, this will be premiering tomorrow for you guys. Still August 6th for me, but when it goes up, it'll be up on my birthday for you all to savor and enjoy. So thank you for watching or listening if you did, and I will see you all in the next video. I'm gonna have an awesome fucking weekend.